good day to you and welcome to the Bloom Show. Thank you ever so much for joining us every day and every time. We love and we appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Bloom Show. Yes, we are live at the Reigning City INTL Church located at Oluwo Funab Road, Abeokuta, Ogun State, Nigeria. And today we bring back to your screen beautiful times, beautiful conversations once more. Here on the Bloom Show, we learn, we grow, and we become everything that God has called us to be. I am Taiwo, your host, and on my left-hand side, I have my co-host with me in person of
Oh Precious. Hello everyone.
You're welcome to the show, Oh Precious. I can see you are just smiling today.
Honestly.
How is the weather in your area?
The weather is great.
Yeah, we thank God. So it's a beautiful time. It's a beautiful evening once more again on the Bloom Show. And I'm sure today's episode is not one that you want to miss. So now let me just move to my co-host right here. Oh Precious, when we say destiny, what do we mean by destiny? Some people see it from the spiritual angle and some people see it from the practical angle. So from your own aspect, what do you think destiny is?
Destiny simply means a purpose.
A purpose.
Yes. Okay. A purpose, and everyone whom God has created is created with a purpose. You are created into this world for a reason.
Okay.
And that reason, it now depends on you as an individual if you are fulfilling that reason, if you are fulfilling that purpose. And in fulfilling this purpose, there are so many things that it entails.
So, Oh Precious, if I understand you well, you're saying that everyone has this purpose. But it is now dependent on the individual to live within that purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to bring
that's really beautiful. Yeah.
Yes. So God in his infinite mercy created us intentionally for a reason. And in creating us, he expects us to fulfill this purpose, to fulfill this purpose, and that is where destiny comes in. So we are all designed for different purposes. We are all created for different reasons. Though there may be a major reason why God created for man to be, to worship.
Yeah.
But when it comes to us coming to this world, he expects us to live within that which he has created us for.
So we are not expected to live life randomly.
Exactly. We are not expected to live life randomly. Okay, we have been given birth to, so just live like that. No. Yes, we are fortunate to be given birth to our parents, but now it is now left to us to think about why am I giving birth to in this family?
What is my purpose here?
What is my purpose here? And what is the reason for me being created as human being
on earth,
not as animals, not as leaves, not as plants,
not as
stones, but as human being. It simply means that God has designed you as human being to fulfill a purpose in your life, and in the environment where you find yourself. So now some people will say, okay, I am a child of destiny, I must fulfill destiny. What is that
destiny? Have you even discovered
yourself? So in fulfilling destiny, you need to identify yourself. You need to know whom you are. You need to know what you want to become in the future. So thereby, when you know all these things, you will be able to know how to walk in line in fulfillment
of that destiny.
Exactly. Don't just live ordinarily. Don't be an ordinary person. There is a reason why God made you what you are.
So what you're trying to say is, wherever you find yourself, make sure you are living within the purpose that God has created you for.
Exactly.
So you're trying to say, even if you are not in the church setting, now, let's say you are maybe outside, there is definitely something that God created, and why you are there.
Yeah.
So you should live within that purpose. I love that.
And there's something I want us to know, that everyone whom God has created is created with a destiny, and not just destiny, a blessed destiny.
Yeah, I love the fact that you used the word blessed destiny. Yes, I love that so much. So thank you so much, oh precious. You know, there's this saying that it is who is alive that fulfills purpose, right? So now, what do we say about people that are alive, living well? You know, they are alive, they are doing very well, and they're still not in the line of that which God wants them to be.
You know, sometimes life has a way of redirecting some people's vision. Fulfilling destiny in life has nothing to do with where you are born. It has nothing to do with your background. It has everything to do with you, your intentionality to bring something valuable out of your life.
So what you're trying to tell us now is that the first step to fulfilling destiny is discovering who you
are. You need to identify yourself. You know, some people say, okay, a fool at 40. There's nothing like a fool at 40.
Oh, that one.
It is now a fool at 40. At a young age, you should know what you want to become in the future. You should know what your purpose. Look, like I said earlier, where you are giving birth to does not determine the fulfillment of your destiny. It does not mar it. It does not stop it. It is you personally that should determine within you that I must fulfill the purpose why God created me. Like I said in my definition, everyone is created with a blessed destiny. Everyone is blessed. It now depends on you whether you want to manifest the positive aspect of your life, and that is coming to life, coming to know whom you are. There are some people, there are some children, when you ask them, what do you want to become in the future? Some will say, I want to be a rich man. How do you become a rich man? It's like a person whose destiny is to be a king, and you are not preparing in that line.
You know, even most times, those that become kings, they've been grooming them.
Yes,
in that line of that kingship.
They must have been trained.
Yeah.
And fulfilling destiny, like I said, has a lot to do with intentionality. You want to be
intentional.
Yeah, you want to be a business guru. And don't forget, you having a destiny, another person's destiny is hanging on your destiny. The fulfillment of another person's destiny is on your own destiny. It's all on your destiny.
So it's a channel.
It simply means if you as a human being, or if you as a person refuse to fulfill your purpose, it simply means you are putting other people's purpose at risk.
At risk, yeah. On hold.
It's like a first child who's supposed to study, be a good example to the ones that are coming behind, and he or she refuse to do what he's supposed to do. Definitely, when all those ones at the back coming, there's a tendency, a likely possible reason for them not to follow suit the same purpose. Yeah. The same way that person is living.
You know, it's just like our father in the Lord, Pastor Taiwo. Yeah. Now let's just imagine he did not listen to the calling of God.
Yeah.
It means we will not be here today.
Obviously.
Meaning that we ourselves will not be fulfilling destiny right now.
Obviously.
So I think I understand the point where you said your destiny is linked to other people fulfilling their own destiny.
Exactly.
So it means that as we live daily, we must understand that we have been called for a purpose, and that purpose we must fulfill, so others can also fulfill theirs through us. Yes.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, oh precious. I love the fact that you were able to divert into different channels, different angles. Thank you very much. So now that we've talked about what it means to fulfill destiny, now that we've understood that the first step to fulfilling destiny is knowing yourself, making sure you are intentional about that which God has called you to be. So now let's talk about what limits people from fulfilling destiny. It's one thing to understand that yes, I am being called for this purpose. Okay, I'm being called. I've discovered that I am being called. There is something that might actually limit me from being in that purpose which God. So what can you say about some of the limitations? Fear is one of these limitations that we talk about. This fear that grow in people that it's not just like somebody that has lived life recklessly in the past and then God is calling him to be a pastor. You will have friends around that will be like, oh, you okay? You pastor. You understand something like so? What can you say about those limitations?
So many things can be an hindrance to fulfilling destiny in life. Like I said, destiny is both physical and spiritual. And when it comes to fulfilling destiny in life, don't forget you have your background. You have where you are coming from. And that is where the spirituality comes in now. We all have where we are coming from. We all have our backgrounds. We all have our knowledge. The spiritual aspect means that where you are being given birth to, the generational causes are there. They can limit one from fulfilling purpose or destiny in life.
Yeah, that's correct.
Also, now leaving the spiritual aspect, coming to the physical, our background too can serve as limitation. In the sense that, look at our parents. There are some of us that look at our parents that, okay, my mom is a teacher, or my father is a farmer, and you look at them, if care is not taken, you may likely follow the trend of that which our parents have started. Nobody in my family ever buys a car. Nobody in my family ever goes abroad. Nobody in my family ever do this. And because of that, your mind is already created
within that.
It's already confined to that setting that this is the limitation in our family. We must not cross. Nobody goes to university in my family. Nobody's, gets married. They used to use their nylon bag to carry their load to their husband's house. Now, having this kind of mindset, you may likely follow suit
with that same
pattern. So it is now left to you. That's why the intentionality comes in. That you need to pray for. If nobody does well in my family, I have to make a difference. And that is where the spirituality continues. You now knowing light, coming to Christ, that having coming to Christ, all things should pass away. All things should become new. So it means that your destiny is in your hands. It simply shows that your background should not put your back on the ground. The fact that your father is a farmer, the fact that they don't do well in your family, the fact that they don't go to higher institution in your family does not mean you should follow suit. Your destiny is in your hands. It means you have to write it by yourself. We are created with a blessed destiny. God has made us. Everybody has an opportunity to be whom they want to be. It's not left to us. So there are so many things that could serve as limitations. So many things. Look at Joseph. His family were his limitation. He had a dream. His own brothers. He had a dream. He knows whom he is. He knows that God has designed him to be a savior of that family
generation.
But what was his limitation? His brothers,
his own family.
Which
makes us to understand that even those that are closest to you can be your limitation from fulfilling destiny.
But thank God for Joseph. He knew his purpose. He knew that his purpose was not just to be a dreamer and remain there. Left to his background, he would have been stuck there and his family would have ended up a disaster. Mind you, the survivor of his family rested on his shoulder.
So
delivering his family from hunger, in the later day rested on his shoulder. And if you look closely into the life of Joseph, you will discover that while growing, while fulfilling purpose, while going through all that he went through, he knew the fact that there is a God factor. And that was why he did not trade his destiny for a mere pleasure. So apart from the spiritual, your background, the physical, you yourself can be a limitation to your own destiny.
Wow. Now I want us to go back to the story of Joseph, right? Does it mean that destiny is fulfilled overnight or over time?
You see, destiny fulfillment is not a magic. It's not a magic.
Wow.
It's something that is fulfilled gradually. As you walk in that line, you begin to fulfill them gradually. And there are processes that you need to go through.
You don't just fulfill destiny.
You don't just wake up one day
and say you want to fulfill.
And become what you want to be. It's like a child being born and said overnight he wants to become rich or you want to walk. No, it is a process. You have to go through the process, and that is why life teaches us.
I love the fact that you said it is not magic.
It's not magic. It's something that is fulfilled with time.
With time.
As you walk in line, as you walk along, it begins to come to reality gradually. A child being born a day is weaned within 6 months, and from there you start walking. From walking to talking, and from talking to all other aspects of growth in life. That is what destiny is.
Wow.
You don't just wake up in the morning and become what you want to become. Destiny has a way of teaching us the process. Destiny fulfillment has a way of teaching. Look at Joseph, like we said. Joseph had to what? He was born into a family, and that family knew. When Joseph knew whom he was, his family kind of gang up against him. Is it you that will now come and bow down to? But him knowing whom he was, he did not allow the circumstances around him to stop him. And that was why when he was going through the process of fulfilling that purpose, he knew what God created him for. And that was why he was able to stand the test of time. How many of us today can stand the test of time to fulfilling our destiny in life?
So, which makes us to understand that nothing can stop you from fulfilling destiny until you stop yourself.
Exactly. No one can stop you from fulfilling
destiny. Joseph brothers even tried to stop him.
Exactly.
But he did not stop.
He did not stop. It simply means that it is only you that can determine whether you, and that is why if you look at the richest place in the world today are the graveyards. Why? Because so many rich destiny are buried there. So many unfulfilled destiny are buried there. So only you can stop yourself from fulfilling destiny.
Wow. Only you yourself can stop from yourself, from nobody else can actually.
Nobody.
Thank you. Wow, thank you so much, oh precious. In fact, I really enjoyed this conversation today, and I'm sure that our audience had a lot to learn also from this conversation. So thank you so much. Thank you very much for joining us today. To our audience, thank you once more for joining us today on The Bloom Show. We have come to the end of today's episode on The Bloom Show. If someone is watching this right now, I'm sure they understand that in fulfilling destiny, the first step to fulfilling destiny is discovering who you are, discovering what your purpose is, where you find yourself. The number 2 thing is intentionality. You have to be intentional about fulfilling that which God has called you to be. And the number 3 is that no one can stop you until you stop yourself. No limitations. There's nothing, no fear, no talk, nothing that anybody's going to say.
Not even your background.
Not even your background, not your lineage can stop you from fulfilling destiny. And also, Oh Precious made us to also understand that spirituality and physical have to work together. You have to be prayerful in fulfilling destiny. You don't just wake up one morning and say, with everything that is going on, I want to fulfill destiny. No, you have to be spiritual about it. We should continue this topic next week. So I want you to understand this today, that life is not just random. We all have been called for a purpose. We all have been called for a reason. Yes, we were created for a reason. And until we fulfill that purpose, we have not lived. You have not lived. Yes,
exactly.
Until you fulfill your purpose, you have not lived. So now your question should not be, does destiny really exist? Your question should be, am I living within my destiny? So we continue this topic next week. Yeah, it's a really interesting topic.
Yeah.
We'll continue next week. Thank you so much once more for joining us today on this episode on The Bloom Show. I'm sure you have learned something. Yeah, you should share with your friends, share with your family. Yes, tell them that you've learned something today and you want them to benefit from it. So like we always say, growth is intentional and no one blooms alone. See you next week. Bye.